in the heart of a secluded forest. A millionaire single dad stumbles upon something. He was never prepared for a young woman, chained and trembling, hidden among the trees. He thought this trip was just a bond with his daughter, but one decision in that moment will test everything he thought he knew about safety, trust, and what it really means to protect the innocent. You won't believe what happens next. The forest air is fresh and vibrant with the scent of pine and damp earth. Birds chirp cheerfully in the treetops while the crunch of footsteps echoes softly through the branches. Noah, a man in his 30s with a strong jaw softened by kindness in his eyes, is helping his 8-year-old daughter Lily set up their modest campsite at the edge of a remote forest preserve. This place is peaceful, far from the city's noise, and the perfect spot for a weekend getaway from the hustle and bustle. Lily, with her bright and lively eyes, dashes through the underbrush. Her laughter echoes like wind chimes in the breeze. "Dad, look at this bug," she exclaims, holding up a tiny creature on her finger. Noah smiles warmly, ruffling her curly hair and nodding in approval. "Just don't go too far. Okay, Peanut," he says, his voice gentle but his eyes watchful. As Lily hops away, Noah kneels down to adjust the tent pole. Just then, he hears a faint sound, almost lost in the rustling leaves. A voice. It's not an animal's cry or a bird's song. It's a weak, trembling human plea, soft and desperate. He freezes, his hair standing on end. The forest seems to hold its breath with him. He hears it again, this time clearer. Help Noah straightens up, instincts kicking in. "Lily, stay close," he calls, then heads toward the sound. He moves carefully, brushing past low branches, his jeans snagging on bushes. The voice leads him deeper into the woods until he reaches a small clearing shrouded in shadow, sunlight barely piercing the dense canopy. There, leaning against a gnarled old oak tree, is a woman. She's slumped over, her white dress dirty and torn, standing out against the dark ground. Noah takes a second to process what he's seeing. She's wearing a wedding dress. Her arms are awkwardly pulled behind her back. Chains jingle softly with every movement. Her wrists and ankles are bruised, scraped, and bleeding. Her black hair clings to her tear-streaked face. Her eyes are wide and terrified as they meet his. "Oh my God," Noah mutters and rushes forward. He kneels beside her, careful not to startle her. Hey, it's okay. I'm here. My name's Noah. What happened? Who did this to you?" The woman's lips quiver, her voice like a fragile thread. "Irina. My name is Irina. Please, get me out of here." Noah reaches for the chains and examines them. They're heavy and rusted, but clearly sturdy. "I need something to break these," he says. "Do you know who did this to you?" She nods slowly, her breathing ragged. "Yes, they said I was running from fate, that I had to marry him, that if I refused, I'd pay the price." Noah's brows furrow in concern. "Who are they?" "His family. They're old and powerful. He's wealthy, very wealthy, but twisted. I ran on the wedding day. They hunted me like an animal." Noah feels his stomach twist. This isn't just some strange accident. This is something darker. He glances over his shoulder as if expecting someone to step out of the woods at any moment. "I've got a daughter nearby. I need to get you out of these chains. And we have to leave here fast." Irina shakes her head, her voice a hoarse whisper. "No, if you make a scene, if you let them hear, they'll find us both. They're watching, always watching." Noah looks into her eyes, seeing not just fear, but a deep pain that tightens his chest. "I won't let that happen," he says firmly. "I promise." He pulls out his multi-tool, the only thing he has on him. It's not meant for this, but he starts working on the chains anyway. His fingers stay steady despite the rising tension. Irina's breathing grows quicker. She grips the tree trunk with her free hand. "Please, you don't understand. If they find me, they'll drag me back like an animal, like a caged beast." Her voice chokes on the last word, and Noah pauses. "I won't let them take you," he says more gently this time, "but you have to trust me." "Can you do that?" She nods, tears silently streaming down her cheeks. Noah works faster now, the metal biting into his hands. The forest feels thicker around them, the silence oppressive. Every snapped twig makes them both jump. But Noah doesn't stop, because this woman, chained and bloodied, is no longer just a stranger. She's someone's daughter, someone's friend, and now she's under his protection. And in the distance, Lily's laughter drifts through the trees. Innocent and untouched, Noah glances toward the sound, then back at Irina. Time is running out. Noah drives with one hand on the wheel and the other gently on the passenger seat, where Irina sits, wrapped in his jacket, silent and shivering. The truck bounces lightly on the dirt road leading out of the forest. The sky outside turns to a soft amber as the sun begins to set. Lily, buckled in the back seat, looks at Irina with quiet curiosity, sensing something different about the woman her dad just saved. The drive to the farm feels longer than usual, heavy with unspoken fears and questions. But Noah keeps his eyes forward, only glancing at Irina as the truck's headlights flash on her pale skin, catching the glint of tears and dried bruises. When they arrive, Noah helps her inside, gently guiding her to the cozy living room couch. The farmhouse is modest but warm, filled with wooden furniture, framed pictures, and a faint cinnamon scent from the potpourri Lily loves to scatter around. "I'll get the first aid kit," Noah says, stepping away for a moment. Irina sits still, her fingers digging into the jacket sleeves, her eyes scanning the room as if expecting someone to burst through the door. The room is too quiet, too safe. It almost feels foreign. When Noah returns, he kneels beside her with practiced care. As he cleans and bandages her wrists and ankles, Irina flinches but says nothing, just watches him with cautious eyes. "You're good at this," she whispers, her voice hoarse. "I used to be a doctor," he replies quietly, securing the last bandage. "Before you became a millionaire," she asks, a touch of dry humor cutting through her fear. Noah chuckles softly. "Yeah, life works in weird ways. What about you? What's your story?" Irina sighs deeply, leaning her head back. "I was supposed to marry a man named Thomas, from an old, wealthy family. Very old. He has power, connections that most people can't imagine. I thought I could walk away when I said no, but they made it clear that refusing was an insult. They came for me the night before the wedding, said I had to learn obedience, that he had chosen me, and no one says no to a Langston." Noah's brows knit together. He knows the name Langston. Real estate tycoons whispered about in business circles, feared more than admired. "They treated you like an animal," he says, his voice dropping with anger. Irina nods. "They said it was symbolic, that I needed to know my place." Silence envelops them, heavy and painful. Lily, sitting cross-legged on the floor with her favorite picture book, looks up and smiles at Irina. "You're really pretty," she says shyly. Irina blinks, surprised. "Thank you, sweetheart." Lily scoots closer, offering her a flower she picked earlier in the woods. "This is for you. I thought it looked lonely by itself, but now it has you." Irina stares at the flower in her hand, her lips parting slightly. It's a small yellow wildflower, its petals a bit ragged, but it's still beautiful. "Thank you," she whispers, her voice choked. Noah watched as Irina's eyes glistened. There's something raw and vulnerable in that moment, something he recognizes. The pain of being wanted for who you are, not what you can give. The comfort of being accepted unconditionally by a child. Noah says softly, "I've never had that," Irina says after a pause. "Family, warmth, a home. All I knew were marble floors and cold stairs. Affection only came with strings attached." Noah nods, understanding more than he shows. "You're safe here. I promise." She looks at him then, her eyes sharp despite her exhaustion. "Do you know what you're saying? If they find me here, they won't just come for me." "I know." Noah says, "But I made a promise when I found you. I don't break promises." Irina looks at him for a long moment, then slowly nods. For the first time since he met her, her shoulders relax a little. Lily leans against her dad's side, yawning. "Can she stay with us?" Dad Noah smiles gently. "She's our guest now, and we take care of our guests." Irina looks at Lily, that small symbol of love and resilience, and something inside her starts to shift. For the first time in a long while, she allows herself to hope. The days that followed brought calm, but never true peace. Irina never took off her shoes, no matter how soft the carpet, No matter how warm the sunlight streamed through the farmhouse windows, she kept her muddy sneakers laced up, ready. At night, while Noah read bedtime stories to Lily, Irina sat by the window, eyes scanning the pines beyond the fence. She memorized every floorboard creak, every moonshadow on the porch, every path to the back door, the garage, the shed behind the barn. She categorized them as potential escapes. She wasn't delusional or paranoid in the traditional sense. She was surviving. Her sharp, methodical mind worked like a soldier in enemy territory. She timed how long it would take to reach the truck from every room. The truck from every room. She slept in short bursts, back always against the wall, any sudden noise, and her eyes snapped open, holding her breath until the silence returned. Noah noticed, but he didn't say anything. Instead, he built a quiet sanctuary around her. No questions, no pressure, just warmth and patience. Coffee left on the kitchen counter, fresh towels folded in the bathroom, the fridge stocked, and smiles ready. He wanted her to heal on her own time, and Irina slowly responded. She didn't flinch when Noah handed her a plate. She didn't stiffen when Lily crawled into her lap with a drawing. She started helping with breakfast, folding laundry, even humming softly while washing dishes. Trust was fragile, but it was building, layer by layer. One evening, as the sky was painted in lavender and gold, Lily asked if she could feed the chickens. Noah nodded from the porch. Just stay near the coop. Peanut. Lily grinned and scampered off, her little boots kicking up dust. Irina stood at the railing, gazing out at the field. She's not scared, she whispered. Noah looked at her, his eyes gentle. She looks just like her mother. A shadow crossed Irina's face. Has she gone? Noah slowly nodded. The car accident was 5 years ago. Irina said nothing for a moment, then said softly, I'm sorry. She would like you. Noah, she has a way of seeing through everyone's scars. Irina looked down at her hands, then gazed towards the horizon where Lily's figure was bouncing in the tall grass. Minutes passed, then they heard a scream. Where Lily's figure bounced in Noah's heart, dropped. Lily. He bolted down the stairs, Irina right behind him. But when they reached the coop, Lily wasn't there. She was just here. Noah muttered, his voice tense. Lily, Irina shouted, her voice piercing the evening quiet. She started running frantically through the trees around the shed, her breathing uneven. Lily, answer me. Noah tried to calm her. Irina, wait. She might have come back, but Irina didn't hear him. Her hands clutched at the bushes, eyes wild. Answer me. Noah tried to calm her. No, 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 not again. Irina. Noah grabbed her shoulders. Look at me. She struggled against him, sobbing. They took her like they took my sister. She was only 10. They said she went too far and never came back. And me. I couldn't save her. The gate was broken. Noah froze, the words hitting him like a punch to the chest. Irina collapsed to her knees, her sobs raw and unfiltered, hands in her hair. I can't do this again. I can't lose another child. I promise you, Noah said, kneeling beside her. We'll find her. But you're not alone. Not this time. Right then, they heard. Lily emerged from behind the pile of dry grass, holding tightly a wild kitten that she had been chasing. Irina let out a trembling sigh of relief. She rushed forward, hugging Lily tightly, holding on so hard the girl squeaked, I was just trying to save her. Lily whispered, she was so cold. Irina nodded to her, tears streaming. You're safe. You're safe. Thank God. Noah watched Irina cling to his daughter like she was the last solid thing in a crumbling world. In that moment, something unspoken passed between them. He saw her, not just the fear, but the loss beneath it, the depth of her scars. And for the first time, he truly understood. Irina wasn't just running from captivity. She was running from pain. The farmhouse was quiet, bathed in the warm flicker of firelight. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees. But inside, a peaceful stillness had settled. Lily had dozed off on the couch, curled up under a blanket with the stray kitten, now named Clover. Beside her, Noah and Irina sat in the kitchen, sipping tea, steam rising, but neither moved to drink. Something hung in the air, unspoken, Waiting. Irina stared at her reflection in the dark window, her voice steady but soft. You deserve to know everything. Noah looked at her, silent, letting her lead. Thomas Langston, she began, fingers tightening around her cup, isn't just a spoiled man. He spent his life buying what he wants, and what he wanted was me. Her tone was matter-of-fact, almost clinical. I was 22. My mom had just passed. I was alone. No family. No job. Thomas saw me at the bar where I worked as a waitress. He offered help, gave me opportunities, said he saw potential in me. She gave a wry smile. What he saw was obedience. She paused, then continued. At first, it was subtle. He gave me a place to stay, hired a stylist for me, said it was all part of a mentoring program. But soon, I had to ask permission to leave the house. Friends disappeared. My phone was monitored. He reminded me, I saved you. I made you. Without me, you're nothing. Noah's jaw tightened. That's not love. That's a prison. Irina nodded. He used legal contracts, NDAs, asset transfers to tie everything to him. Even my clothes were listed as his property. The first time I tried to leave, he had his lawyers threaten me. He said I'd disappear like the others who forgot their place. And I believed him. Noah leaned forward. Why you? She hesitated, then answered, because I said no to him once, and Thomas Langston doesn't take no for an answer. That made me his mission. She sighed. 2 years I lived under surveillance, guards, and threats. He showered me with gifts, then reminded me I was nothing without him. The engagement was announced without asking me, looking straight into Noah's eyes, but on the wedding date was set. I played along because I was scared. She looked straight into Noah's eyes, but on the morning of the wedding, I saw my reflection in that dress. I saw a stranger, and something broke. I ran. I knew I wouldn't survive if I stayed. Noah swallowed, the weight of her words settling on him. And that's when they caught you. She nodded. In the woods. I was trying to get to the bus station. I had a fake ID hidden, but someone tipped them off. Photos. Pretend like I'd finally agreed, they dragged me back. I thought they'd hide me until after the wedding and force photos. Pretend like I'd finally agreed. She closed her eyes. I managed to slip the cuffs when the guards left. I ran again. That's when you found me. Noah reached across the table, gently placing his hand on hers. You never have to go back. Tears welled in her eyes. You don't understand. Thomas won't stop. He'll hunt me and anyone who helps me. He needs to make an example of me. I'm the bride who got away. That's not a story he can let stand. I get it, Noah said firmly. I know what men like him are capable of. But I also know this. He hasn't met anyone like me, and I won't let him win. Irina looked at him, emotions flooding her face. Why? Why risk everything? Because you're not a possession, Noah said. You're a person. And more than that, you're someone Lily cares about, someone I care about. She held her breath. She looked away, then back at him as if trying to hold on to the moment. I don't want to drag anyone down with me, she whispered. I've been running so long, expecting betrayal at every turn, when someone makes me believe in people again. Then, but if anyone could make me believe in people again, it's you. Noah's heart tightened. Stand by me, no matter what happens. I'm not a hero, he said. But I'll stand by you, no matter what happens. That's a promise. She nodded, tears finally falling. And in the silence that followed, something changed between them. Something strong, fragile, and unbreakable all at once. The days stretched into weeks, and the countryside's quiet wrapped Irina in a peace she'd never known. The farmhouse, once strange and shadowed, started to feel like home. She no longer slept in her shoes. The doors stayed locked, but she didn't check them 5 times a night anymore. She began to breathe again, not out of fear, but in rhythm with the wind through the fields and the hum of life around her. Noah gave her space, never pushing, never asking for more than she was ready to give. He simply made her coffee in the mornings, left a flower from the garden at her spot on the table, smiled when she laughed, and she began to laugh, softly at first, uncertain, but genuine. Lily adored her. They spent afternoons in the kitchen, where Irina taught the girl to bake chocolate chip cookies. Lily covered her hands in flour as she giggled beside her. She started a garden out back. At first, Just herbs, basil, mint, rosemary, then tomatoes, beans, and peppers. Noah helped her till the soil, and Lily painted garden signs in bright colors. The garden, like Irina, began to take root. One evening, as the three of them sat on the porch watching fireflies blink in the fields, Irina turned to Noah. "I never thought I could feel this again. Not peace, not joy, not this." Noah looked at her, his voice gentle. "Me neither." There was a silence between them, thick with unsaid thoughts. Finally, Noah broke it. "I haven't told you everything," he said. "About me, about Lily's mom." She tilted her head, waiting. "She was my first love. We married young, too young. I thought we had it all, but she had other plans, other people." He rubbed his thumb along the edge of his coffee mug. "When she left, she didn't just leave me. She left Lily too. Said the world here was too small. Said we were holding her back." Irina's heart ached for not seeing it, for believing in something that wasn't real. He glanced at her, eyes soft. "I stopped trusting women, stopped letting anyone get close, but you let me in," she whispered. "I did," he said, "because you didn't demand to be here, because you're honest, even when it hurts you, and because I see you, not what happened to you, just you." Tears brimmed in her eyes, but she smiled through them. "And I see you, Noah." That night, they lingered on the porch long after the stars had come out. Their hands touched as they sat side by side. No rush, just letting it be. But peace, as they both knew, was fragile. A few days later, just before dusk, a delivery truck pulled up to the driveway. Noah stepped out to meet the driver, who handed him a white garment bag in a small ivory envelope. "It's for Irina," the man said, then drove off. Noah frowned, the bag's weight familiar yet strange. He carried it inside and found Irina in the kitchen with Lily, pulling a tray of cookies from the oven. The smell of vanilla and chocolate filled the room. "This is for you," he said, setting the items on the counter. Irina's smile vanished as she saw the bag. Her hands began to tremble. She reached for the envelope first. It was sealed with a wax stamp, the Langston family crest. Her name was written in elegant script she recognized all too well. With shaking fingers, she opened it. A note slid out. "You can play house as long as you like, but you know how this ends. You belong to me. Try running again, and I'll chain you in front of the world. Consider this your wedding dress." Round 2. Irina stared at the note, her breath catching in her throat. Then, almost mechanically, she unzipped the garment bag. Inside was a new wedding dress, sleek and luxurious. Exactly the style she'd once described passing by Thomas years ago. He'd remembered. He'd waited. And now he was reminding her. She was still his. The room blurred, her knees buckled. Noah caught her before she hit the floor. "I've got you," he whispered, holding her close. She clutched the note, her body racked with sobs. "He won't stop," she cried. "He'll find me. He'll hurt me. He'll take everything. I thought I could start over, but I was wrong. I was so wrong." Noah pulled her closer, his voice resolute. "No, Irina, you're not his. You're not property. You're not helpless. We'll face this together. But you have a daughter," she whispered. "You have everything to lose." He gently touched her face, tilting her chin up until their eyes met. "Then let me lose it for the right reasons." And in that moment, wrapped in his arms, tears streaming down her cheeks, Irina felt her heart, battered and guarded and weary, begin to beat strong again with hope. Morning sunlight filtered through the lace curtains, casting golden patterns on the farmhouse floor. Irina stood at the window, clutching a cup of tea. She wasn't watching the dawn. She was staring into her past. "I'm not running anymore," she said softly, her voice stronger than it had been in years. Noah stepped up and placed a steady hand on her shoulder. "Are you sure?" She turned to face him. "Running never set me free. It just kept me alone. If I want to truly live, if I want Lily to grow up knowing the truth, I have to stop hiding. I want him exposed. I want the world to see who he really is." And with the help of Evelyn Cartwright, Noah's friend, and a fierce lawyer known for taking down giants, they put together a plan. Irina would invite Thomas to the farm, pretending to surrender. Lawyer fierce, known for taking down wearing a hidden recording device. She'd coax a confession from him. The officers would wait just outside, ready as soon as they had what they needed. It was dangerous, but Irina wasn't afraid anymore. The day came. Irina wore a soft sweater and jeans. Her hands shook under the table, but her face stayed calm. Lily had been taken to a safe place. Evelyn waited in the corner of the room, her phone linked to the feed. Noah stayed nearby, quietly watching. At noon, a sleek black car pulled up the dirt road. Thomas Langston stepped out, impeccable, confident, and cold. Irina met him on the porch. "Irina," he said smoothly, arms outstretched, "you look so rustic." She didn't flinch. "Did you come alone?" He smirked, cold. Irina met him on the porch. "Do I need backup to talk to my fiancé?" She stated firmly that we were never engaged. Thomas shrugged and stepped closer. "I'll forgive you. You were scared. This whole farm life act. You'll get over it." He took her hand. She pulled back. "You can't forgive me. You imprisoned me, controlled me. That's not love. That's obsession." Thomas's expression darkened. "Everything I gave you, every dress, every diamond, was my way of caring for you. You just don't understand how the world works." Irina kept her voice steady. The wire beneath her shirt caught every word. "I know what you've done to the others. Thomas, the ones who disappeared." He scoffed. "You think anyone will believe a runaway over me? I'm a Langston." "Then prove it," she said. "Say it. Admit it." His smile faded. His voice dropped to a hiss. "Fine. I bought you. I own your life. And if you pull something like this again, I'll bury you so deep the world will forget you exist." Then, with sudden fury, he lunged forward. "You think you can trap me?" You before he could finish. Noah burst through the door and tackled him hard. The two men hit the ground, fists flying, but Noah quickly subdued him. Years of training paid off. Sirens wailed in the distance. The police swarmed the house in seconds, shouting orders. Evelyn stepped forward, holding up the recording. "We've got it all. Every word." Thomas writhed under Noah, his power ebbing by the second. Irina stood over him, steady and unafraid. "It's over. The world will see who you really are." As the police led him away, he shouted and struggled. Irina turned to Noah. Her breath came in gasps, hands still shaking. He opened his arms, and she fell into them. Not broken, not scared, free. Thomas Langston's arrest rocked the nation. Within 24 hours, his face was splashed across every news outlet. Headlines screamed billionaire businessman arrested in shocking abuse scandal. Videos of him being led away in handcuffs played on repeat on TVs and social media. But the most impactful stories didn't come from the media. They came from the women. One by one, survivors stepped forward. Voices once silenced by fear or buried under legal threats now united former assistants, ex-wives. Even housekeepers shared eerily similar tales of manipulation, control, and cruelty. The pattern was undeniable. Thomas Langston had operated in the shadows for years, believing himself untouchable. Not anymore. Thanks to the recording, Irina risked everything for the case against him was airtight. Evelyn worked tirelessly to secure not just protection for Irina, but justice for all the survivors involved. Irina was fully shielded throughout the proceedings, a legal safeguard that let her speak without fear of retaliation. She also retained the right to file civil suits if she chose. But more than the legal victories, Irina found peace. Life on the farm returned to its gentle rhythm. The garden she'd planted in cautious silence now bloomed in vibrant colors. She walked barefoot on the porch in the morning sun, humming to herself as she prepared breakfast. And every day, Lily ran to her with drawings, stories, and flower-covered fingers from their latest kitchen adventures. "I'm not scared anymore," Lily said one morning, looking up at Irina with wide eyes. Irina knelt beside her, brushing a curl from her cheek. "No, sweetie, neither am I," Lily said, hugging her because she liked this Irina best. Noah watched the exchange from the doorway, his heart filled with a quiet joy he hadn't felt in years. Irina wasn't just healing, she was blooming. And in the quiet way of true love, his feelings for her deepened with each day she stayed. No grand declarations, no fiery confessions, just steady steps toward each other until they weren't walking beside each other anymore, but hand in hand. The two of them carried it in silence as they strolled the fields. For them, it was where souls ignited, hand in hand. Then one evening, as the sun set and painted the sky in soft peach and lavender, Irina called Noah to the old oak tree near the garden. It was the very tree where, months before, she'd planted her first seeds with trembling hands. Now, it stood tall and serene, a silent witness to all that had passed. Noah approached, curious, wiping his hands on his jeans. Irina stood under the branches, holding something small in her hand. Her expression was calm, but her eyes sparkled in the fading light. "I want to show you something," she said. He stopped in front of her, and she gently took his hand. From her pocket, she pulled out an old, frayed piece of rope, unmistakably familiar. Noah stiffened, recognizing it immediately. "It's from the chains," she said softly. "The ones you cut when you found me. I kept a piece." He stared at it, his throat tightening. "I kept it," she continued, "not to remember the pain, but to remember the moment I chose to fight, to flee, and to live." Her voice quavered a bit, but she smiled. "And today, I want to turn it into something else." She wrapped the cord around his wrist and tied it gently. Her hands didn't shake. "Noah," she said, eyes not leaving his, "you found me when I was broken. You didn't see me as a victim, but as someone worth saving. You gave me space to heal and love to trust again. So now, I'm choosing. I choose freedom, and I choose you." Noah held his breath. Tears lined his eyes, and for a long moment, he said nothing. Then he took her hand, lifted it to his lips, and whispered, "Then I choose you too." They stood under the oak tree, the cord between them a symbol not of bondage, but of rebirth. And as the wind rustled the leaves above, the past finally faded away. Irina had once been chained. Now she was free, and she had found her forever. The forest that morning was alive, but without fear. Birdsong danced in the treetops. Golden light filtering through the leaves dappled on the ground below, right in the clearing where, months ago, Irina had been chained, bloody, broken, and terrified. Now stood a small wooden archway draped in ivy and wildflowers, built by Noah's own hands. Beneath it, two lives would merge, not out of obligation, not out of power or control, but out of choice. Pure, sacred choice. The air was filled with pine and hope. Chairs were arranged in a simple semicircle around the arch. Only their closest friends, those who'd witnessed their journey, seated there. No extravagance, no media, no pretense, just truth. Lily walked down the forest path, arms linked with flowers, a small basket of petals in her hands. Her dress wasn't what fashion magazines called high-end. It was soft ivory linen, flowing and natural, sewn by a tailor who understood the soul behind the request. The dress sways with her, light and graceful, reflecting the woman she's become, strong, radiant, and whole. Lily dashes ahead, tossing flower petals into the air with pure joy, giggling as they drift down in soft arcs along the path. The soft arcs along the path. "Hurry up, Irina," she calls. "Hurry up, Irina," she calls over her shoulder. Irina laughs, her voice clear and bright, the laughter she thought she'd never find again. Each step forward is a quiet victory. The trees that once witnessed her pain now stand as proof of her healing. At the end of the aisle, Noah stands there in a simple shirt and vest, his eyes fixed on her. When their eyes meet, everything else fades away. He takes her hand as she reaches him, and they stand under the arch in silence for a moment, just breathing and smiling. Then Irina turns to their small group, her voice calm but full of emotion. "I once believed freedom was just about escaping, putting distance between me and the past, running so fast no one could catch up." She looks around, her eyes stopping at the tree where rusty chains once hung. "But I've learned something here," she continues. "True freedom isn't about running away. It's about choosing. Choosing to love even when your heart's been broken. Choosing to trust even after being betrayed. Choosing to stay when all your fears tell you to leave." She turns to Noah, her hand finding his. "I choose you," she says, "not because I need saving, but because when I saved myself, You were there waiting with open arms. You've shown me that the past can shape us, but it doesn't define us. And real love isn't about possession. It's about partnership. It's about peace. Noah's voice is full of emotion as he replies, "And you choose me, not in spite of my past, but because of my strength, my truth, my fire. You've taught me to believe in love, in loyalty, in something that lasts." Lily claps and cheers, running over to hug them both before the final words are spoken. As the vows are completed and the first kiss as husband and wife is shared under the forest canopy, the guests rise to applaud. But for Irina and Noah, the loudest sound is their hearts beating in sync, finally set free. The sun rises higher, casting warm rays through the branches as the small crowd begins a quiet celebration. Through the branches as no band, no ballroom, just a wooden table with simple food, laughter echoing through the forest, and soft guitar strumming from one of Noah's old friends. As the sun sets, bathing the clearing in a golden amber glow, Noah helps Irina onto a chestnut horse. Lily's already sitting up front, and he climbs on behind them, wrapping his arms around the two women who mean everything to him. With a gentle nudge, the horse steps forward, its hooves crunching over leaves and memories. They ride slowly through the woods, past the ancient oak, past the shadows that once swallowed Irina like a pit. But this time, the darkness doesn't feel threatening anymore. This time, light floods every corner. Irina leans into Noah's chest, holding on to the life she once thought was lost. She was chained, she was hunted, she was hurt. But now she's free, and freedom has never looked so beautiful. As the last rays of sunlight touch the forest floor and the horse's hooves fade into the golden quiet of evening, one truth remains. Love, when chosen freely, becomes the strongest force of all. Irina's journey wasn't just about survival. It was about reclaiming her voice, her life, and her heart. From the shadows of captivity to the light of love built on trust and truth, she found freedom not by running away, but by standing still and choosing to love again. And in doing so, she didn't just change her story, she wrote a new one. This story reminds us that sometimes, the most unexpected places like a quiet forest can hold the most life-altering encounters. Noah, a single father trying to protect his daughter and heal his own heart, found more than just peace in nature. He found a mystery, a cry for help, and a second chance to be someone's hero. Through his quiet courage and Lily's innocent heart, we are reminded that healing often begins with listening, with staying, and with choosing compassion even when it's inconvenient. If this story moved you, if you found yourself rooting for Noah and Lily, then let's stand behind them. What do you hope Noah does next? Should he trust his instincts and fight for justice or protect Lily by walking away from it all? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if stories like this, stories of second chances, quiet bravery, and the power of human connection speak to you, don't forget to subscribe to Touching Tales Hub. This is where healing begins, one story at a time. Your support means more than you know. Thank you for being here and for believing that kindness still changes lives.